everybody. It's Why We Love Horror Television. I'm John Morris. This is my wife, Fiorella. And over there, or the Brookses, Abby Brooks, Aaron Brooks. What's up today, everybody? How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling a little bit, I don't know, anxious, I guess, if we're representing how we feel about the episode with how we're feeling. But, I'm feeling good. How you doing, Abs?
No, I'm feeling good. I think you and I kind of feeling the same today.
Antsy, not anxious, antsy.
Antsy. All right. Well, we're talking about, I think there's only 10 episodes in this season, so we're starting to wind down. Episode 8, Business and Pleasure.
Wirt and I are heading to Tampa to chase down a lead on the NHI serial killer case.
Why would Petrie drive to Miami to commit 3 murders?
Murder vacation.
This cannot be real.
It's real.
Who are you?
One lucky guy.
Nikki Spencer was spotted at a known cartel stash house.
I want names of every member, addresses, phone numbers. We are running out of time. Someone out there knows something.
Dexter, Original Sin.
And that's Business and Pleasure. That's episode 8. And we're starting. You know, we finally, just my big thing. Let's do one big thing each. At least we know what happened to one of the characters we've never seen before. We finally see what happens to Bobby. I don't think he's gonna make it.
He might have a little chance to say one more final thing before he dies, but that's what happened to Bobby. He got shot in the neck. So
and it's sad when we start unraveling why he was where he was when he got shot in the neck. But that's my big takeaway. At least Bobby doesn't exist in Dexter. He does exist in the flashbacks. He's obviously close friends with Harry, partners with Harry, but in the middle of a forced cartel raid, he gets shot in the neck. That's my big takeaway. Fiorella, what was your big takeaway?
So my takeaway is that Dexter Original Sins hates fathers because all the fathers suck. The fact we always knew Dexter was in the position he's in because of Harry. We didn't know exactly how, but the scene where they're in the playgrounds, and even I was thinking, I'm like, please tell me that the kids aren't there, because how are they going to not run up to Harry? And then Dexter literally runs up to Harry. Harry gets nervous, and then we see that they're being watched. I was like, well, oh shit. I have a couple of theories on what the police captain is doing, but my takeaway was like, oh crap, good thing Mother's Day is coming before Father's Day, because not in the mood for it.
Abby, what's your big takeaway this week?
I think there were 2 of the storylines that stuck out the most to me this episode, because I feel like there's a lot of storylines in this. Yeah. I think it was the cartel situation, which I thought that was weird. I probably am on the same page about that. I thought that whole sequence was really weird, but I thought it was probably one of the biggest things that happened this episode. And then we're starting to learn a little bit more about the boyfriend that Deb has. There's something weird going on. So I feel like there's going to be some connection with him. Maybe not to the actual storylines going on, but they're going to connect him somehow in the whole Dexter scheme of things. Those are the 2 things that stood out the most to me in this episode. I feel like there's a lot of other stuff that just kind of we keep seeing the same thing. In particular, the flashbacks. I feel like that's just kind of let's get, we know where this leads to. Let's just get there. It's just kind of the same thing over and over again. But those were the 2 big things that I thought.
Aaron, what do you got?
Yep. It's time to die, Laura. It is time to die. I am so sorry, but I'm ready to move past this at this point. I think it's crazy that we're waiting until episode 9 to chop her up at this point. It's really been drawn out. The nostalgia magic of the flashbacks is gone for me at this point. I feel like we've had the same conversation with Harry and Laura 6 times now, where it's can I stop? No, keep going. It's not very dramatic. It's like when a movie tells you something's going to happen and then goes back and waits for it to happen for an hour, but you already told me how it's going to end. We know how this is going to end as well. And it's going to, it is tragic, but it's also the basis of Dexter. And I think waiting until episode 9 was a little bit of a miscalculation. So that's my biggest takeaway, I would say. Like, I get they're trying to establish the emotional like impact of it, but it's to the point where it's having the opposite effect for me.
And also, isn't she just like the worst at covering her kids' eyes? Like, Dexter, don't look.
Yeah, and let's meet in a public park. Also, like, let's just meet in a public park, because what do we have to worry about?
But
Like,
that was Harry's fault.
Which is even worse because he is a officer of the law, and I would think
he's been going to her house he's in her fucking house every single time. Now, let's go to the park.
Yeah.
Well, because he doesn't want to sleep with her, he can't control his penis. Very obviously.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Oh, Harry. Yeah. So
I will say though, I thought about you, Aaron, during one scene when he was finally on the boat. I'm like, Aaron must be so happy now.
What was it? I think called the Slice of Paradise or something.
Camilla's boat's called the Slice of Pie.
Slice of Pie, yes.
Yeah. I was like, okay, the boys are gonna be so happy now because this has been
I've been waiting.
Side.
Yeah.
And Dexter know how to pilot those boats real well. They're just pros.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm glad that season 2 will have plenty of young Dexter boating mishaps happening. Right, each episode is going to be the newest hijinks with like which one's starboard or something. Like, it's going to be great.
And then, like, Deb throws like a $30,000 bracelet, just throws it away into the ocean, and that's how Dexter gets the inspiration. Like, once the ocean has it, it's gone forever. Of course, we know that's not true, but that's where he got the idea. Deb basically indirectly given him the idea to dump bodies in the ocean.
Because we've all been wondering how he figured out that master plan.
And then we got another kind of like we know how Dexter's brother ties in. Apparently, Brian Moser is the one killing. At least we're supposed to believe Brian Moser is the one killing the vagrants and male prostitutes and whatever. And we know that he had not only killed his psychiatrist in Tampa, but stolen his car and planted it, sold it to a girl, and the whole deal. So Brian Moser is the NHI killer.
You think?
He was the guy who came up to Dexter in episode 3 and asked, "Is his seat taken?" Like I said, and other people.
You did.
Many people said that. I'm not the only one, but I did say that, and I was right. And I have a theory on this episode as well that we'll get into when we broach the subject.
I am much to what Abby said about Deb. I did go through this episode with just like hoping that you boys were completely wrong and that there was no side story to the boyfriend, though I knew there had to be, right? It's the world of Dexter. Everyone has a story. But like I was so hoping that she just like was left alone for one episode. Just leave her alone. And so my heart did break for her on that. I'm just like, the way, did you guys notice the camera trick that they did at the very end when it was just Deb like sobbing and they just like made it like a shadow box as they were like fading away from her and it turned into the siren?
Yeah,
I was just like, oh my God, like I would be crying right now if it wasn't Dexter. Like, it was heartbreaking. I feel so bad for her.
Yeah,
for sure.
Her life's going out of control, but we know she's going to get a job with Metro. So
and with Gil, I'll just go into my theory because my theory is about Gil. We're not done with Gil, that's for sure. Gil, when going to that like random place on his business trip. Long story short, I do think this is Estrada's son. I do think that Gil is in the cartel. There is a specific shot of like that serpent cane thing with the ruby eyes. And that is just like the ruby eyes on the ring that Estrada is on Estrada's arm that they show and they zoom in on. He has a ring with the red eyes as well. So this is Estrada's son. He's carrying on the family's business, Gil Estrada. And it's probably going to be because it's Dexter, a long-term like revenge ploy from the reaching back to the Mosers, realizing that he's connected with Harry Morgan. So it's probably a long 20-year revenge plan by Gil.
Do you think he targeted Deb?
Yes.
As his girlfriend? Yeah. I did have that feeling.
And I think that Dexter will have to save her without her realizing it because obviously Deb doesn't know who Dexter is back then. So Dexter will come to the rescue and save right before Gil tries to kill Deb.
And we also have Harry stealing and destroying evidence in Tampa to protect Dexter. So he's like, That Harry is the original sin here.
Wait, to protect Dexter or to protect himself? Because at that point he's protecting just himself. It was Harry's affair.
Right, both their names are in the note.
Mm.
And then LaGuardia knows that he stole and destroyed the evidence, but she's not letting off. So this has to go somewhere because I don't remember them ever having an issue, even in the flashbacks from Dexter. So something has to happen here.
Yeah, and I think this is like effective in kind of setting up the tension that again eventually LaGuardia and Dexter have kind of throughout, and it's more than just Dokes. It's more than just, it's so many reasons. LaGuardia has the most justified reasons of anybody to have a problem with Dexter.
Yeah.
Definitely one. And they're doing a good job of that because LaGuardia's not in this show a ton. But when she is, it's impactful. Like, it seems like important reasons she's in this show. Unlike Angel, who, like, I'm still trying to figure out why he's here. Like, right now, because it's just not working.
Yeah.
So
I guess we get into the main thing. We're still following Captain Spencer. You know, he drugs his kid just so he could take his mask off in front of him, which was, I thought that was a weird scene. It's like,
and they played dramatic music like we didn't already know this. Also, when he reveals himself, which I'm like, did they have like 2 cuts and they couldn't decide when they were gonna reveal him? But like, he takes off his mask and like, dun dun dun. Like, I'm like, yes.
And then he takes his son's shirt off and then gives it to a crackhead. And the crackhead goes to the cartel house and dumps the shirt on the floor. So when they do the raid of the cartel house, he can find the shirt, even though they will have no idea where his son is because they didn't kidnap him in the first place. It's the most everything.
That's very obvious to me.
Everything he does is the most confusing stuff to me because then, like, he's such a great actor. Yeah, I guess. I'm saying that Aaron Spencer is a great actor because then he's like throwing fits and he's like breaks the TV, he breaks the kitchen table. Like, where's my fucking son?
Gets Bobby shot.
Yeah. What do we think about Captain Spencer?
Abby?
I mean, I think that whole scene, I didn't get the point of it. I didn't. I mean, I kind of do. Again, I thought the whole reveal thing that Aaron was talking about, I thought that was dumb. And then I thought that whole scene, again, I just wasn't really sure the point of like what his character was trying to do. I mean, I guess frame these people, but then he goes and makes it worse by shooting all of the people. So I was just confused by what the actual point was for it. I didn't really get it. And now it's just kind of even a bigger mess for him and what he was trying to do.
If the long game is him taking down the cartel, right? If that's the long game, he could have skipped steps 2 through 12 and went straight from 1 to 13.
Fiorella seems to have an explanation for all this. So
I don't think
let's go to our cartel expert.
Yes, in-house cartel expert. Listen, my grandfather grew up in Mexico, so I don't know.
Okay, I don't want to make any assumptions.
So I agree with Abby. I did think though that whole dun 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 reveal was very much reminiscent to like the way they did horror movies in the 90s, like Scream and things like that. So like I kind of got like that little flashback, and I kind of appreciated it for that. Like if I looked at it that way. Now I think he's definitely not trying to take down the cartel. He's trying to take down the cartel he's not working for. He's very much in some cartel's pocket. He's very much partnering with some cartel. And this is probably the competition. So you notice too, it was Dominican flags?
Dominican flags on the wall, yeah.
Dominican flags all over what we expect to be a Cuban cartel, being Cuban or Colombian, being that it's in Miami. You know, you kind of just speculate. So the fact that those flags were placed all over and the shot was on those flags, I'm like, well, it's obvious I think that this is the opposing cartel. So he just killed a whole bunch of his competitors for his cartel. How that ties in the future, I don't know. I think he's just I think he wasn't planning on taking off the mask until the son heard him go shh. And as like with our daughter, that was a big thing. Like when she was little, and even now, if she wakes up in the middle of the night, very much we go shh, and she recognizes it right away. So it's like I think he slipped up, and then at that point just took off the mask. That's why I said the dads suck in this episode. But yeah, that's my theory. My theory is he is most definitely in a cartel's pocket, and he went in there to gun down the competition.
That's better than no reason at all. So I'll take it. That makes sense. And maybe they're saving. I don't know. I don't see. Do you
Maybe
think?
that's where Gil comes in.
Yeah.
Gio, sorry.
Yeah. Do you think? Yeah, I said Gil as well. Gio. I apologize for getting your name wrong earlier.
Well, I like Gil and Kill, so now that's
Gil Kill, but Gio, yes, Gio. His real name is probably Gil. But
his name is Giorgio.
Yeah, I got it. Papa Giorgio. But yeah, I mean, I do appreciate that. I am trying not to get too caught up in when we're going to lose Captain Spencer, because I'm waiting for Captain Matthews to show up, because he has a big thing to do. He's a significant part of Harry and Dexter's life. So he's going to be here by season 2. It's just a matter of when. So that would make sense if it's as a result of the cartel and that gets revealed. And then that's why Captain Matthews comes in, because they need somebody like immediately to take control of this. So that would be an interesting, sides like aftermath of killing Captain Spencer. So, and Patrick Dempsey is killing this role. I will say that, like, he's so good at playing these types of roles. So very good performance. While Deb's performance is, it's getting a little bit shaky as we're going. I was expecting to go the other way because I was so team Molly Brown to start the season, but sometimes like they just throw in Debisms like once or twice in the episode, but the rest of the time she's not really talking like Deb, but like then she'll just be like, fucking shit, like once, and I'm like, all right,
And Sophia's crazy, right?
She's a teenager.
I like when she's just like kissing the new kid, like looking right at Dexter, like.
Yeah. She's really annoying though. I get teenage girls are annoying, so this is accurate to real life. But geez, man, every time she's on screen, I'm like, I get it, but I get it.
I think that we covered all the characters, all the storylines. Anything else? Any final thoughts before we jump to these ratings?
Wait, did you guys catch who LaGuardia was sleeping with?
Yes. Oh, yes, I did. Miguel Prado of season 3, future district attorney Miguel Prado, which I turned to Abby. I said, why? Why? Not everything has to be connected, which is why I'm hoping my Gio/Gil theory, is wrong. I really don't want him to just be Estrada's son. Not everything has to be connected. Right. I'd like him to be an asshole, and it's just like they're making it really look like he's part of the cartel. But he's part of the cartel. Like even the teacher, like, who are you? It's like that will be answered. Like he's not just some guy. But I hope he is almost. But it's not. Everything is connected.
Everything's connected, and we're gonna have a whole other season of things being connected. Watch. Any final thoughts before I jump on these ratings? All right. Well, Fiorella has another thought, and she can do her rating and give her thought. Go ahead. Perfect. What's your rating?
So the one thing I noticed today, because I was comparing the cast with the original cast, and something bothered me. Harry's hair, he has more grays as a young man than he does in the original Dexter. And I don't know why, but that bothered me, and that's going to affect my rating.
What's your rating?
I'm going to stick with a 4. Yeah, I'm solid 4.
All right. I'm a little less than that. I do agree with like, kind of what Aaron's saying. It is, I mean, it's not bad. These episodes aren't bad, and I like them, but it is just, we're just coasting right now. So I'm at a 3 right now.
I think I would also give it a 3. Again, it's not a bad episode, but again, I'm just waiting for some of these storylines to just let's get to the point soon.
Once we chop up Laura, I'll go above a 3. But until Laura gets chopped up, it's going to have to be a 3 as well.
Am I the only one that's not ready for that? Like,
You're allowed to like it. You're allowed to like it.
I've never been more ready to see a mother chopped up in front of their children before.
And there's also just some random like migrant workers in there too, just ready to get
poor guy. I felt worse for that guy. I'm like, why? Who is this guy?
It's a guy. Then there's like a couple, and then Laura and Dexter and Brian are in the back.
Well, there was a lot of blood, so they want that to be accurate. If they're going to change the age of Dexter, they want to
full on Scarface the shit out of that whole group of people.
Next episode, we're going to find out how those guys are connected to Dexter.
Right.
Yeah, that's Giorgio's family.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Why We Love Horror TV. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror. Go to the Letterboxd challenge on that website. Join us there. We'd love that. schedule here is always the same. Sunday night, you're watching It's Why We Love Horror TV. Monday is Versus. Thursday is Why We Love Horror. Friday is Why We Love Horror Trivia. Special editions happen sometimes. I'm John Maher. That's Fiorella Maher. And those are the Brookses, Abby and Aaron. And we'll see you next time on Why We Love Horror TV.